host, Agnes and Marjorie.
Today on June 15, 1349, we have more information on the recent breakouts of plague across Europe.
Before we talk to Dr. Alfonso about the causes, implications, and effects, let's cut to Mavis, who's been interviewing peasants on the countryside of Florence.
Thank you, Marjorie. I'm here in Tuscany with young Beatrice, who recently lost her entire family and all of her animals to the recent plague breakouts. Tell me, Beatrice, when did you first realize that everyone was sick?
Well, my parents died, but I thought it was just a few. Is it everywhere else too?
Sure is. It's ranging across Europe, killing thousands, possibly millions of people.
Is that what's going on?
Yep. Can you tell me what it's like living in a plague-ridden village?
I could tell you that the smell is horrible. I had to carry around this basket of flowers and candles just to keep me from puking. And I can't even get a nice pair of boots because the cobbler and his apprentice just went up and decided to die. And I can't get married now because Charles the Cutie and Hot Hugh, they went and decided to die too. Who's gonna take care of me now?
I'm so sorry for your losses, Beatrice. To all you eligible young bachelors out there, come to the Tuscan countryside to meet maidens ready to be courted. Is there anything else you can tell us about the cause or the spread of the plague?
I can tell you what's going on in the Dutch diggity dog turks in the east. We need to take them out now before they kill us all.
We're gonna die? I don't want to die. I'm never gonna get married.
As you can see, Marjorie, things are pretty rough out here in the Tuscan countryside. Now, back to you.
Thank you, Mavis. Happening now, we're here with the leading resident of Florence, Dr. Alfonso.
Thank you for coming on, Doctor.
Thank you for having me, Agnes.
Let's get right into the issue here. Europe is infected with this sickness, and no one seems to know what it is or where it came from. What can you tell us about it?
Well, ladies, the plague comes in 3 different forms. The bubonic, the pneumonic, and the septicemic plague. But the most common of these is the bubonic.
What can you tell us about the symptoms?
Well, the bubonic plague causes fever, fatigue, vomiting, headaches, intolerance to light, pain in the back and limbs, and delirium. It also causes what we're calling buboes. This is where one or more of the lymph nodes swells up and becomes tender.
Thank you for this vital information, Doctor.
Next, we'd like to ask you maybe about the origins of the plague. But first, we'd like you to watch a short clip from an interview with Mavis and a sailor.
I'm here in Venice, the thriving port city of the Adriatic, trying to get a sailor to answer a few questions for me. Sir, can I ask you a few questions?
Well, sure.
What's your name?
See bad, sailor.
Okay, as a sailor in the trade industry, what can you tell us about the changes you've seen over the past few years?
Well, we've been busy with more trade than ever. Ever since the Crusades, we've been traveling back and forth, going with the wind across the seas.
Really? That sure sounds dangerous, especially when the plague is outbreaking across all of Europe.
Well, I am sure afraid of getting sick, especially if you can escape one of your sick shipmates. But if we stop trade, then no, some of these places won't get any spices for the dead body smell. Or the doctors won't get the silk for the stitching or the pain medicine for the dyeing.
Well, that sounds terrible. You have quite the laugh, sir. I really enjoy it.
Well, thank you.
Are there any commonalities that you've seen in all the different cities that you visited?
Well, all the sick look the same, but besides that, all I notice are all these dead rats around.
Really interesting, sir. Thank you for your time and all your bravery in sailing across the sea. Now back to the studio.
Doctor, what are your thoughts on Sinbad's speculation?
Well, he is right about the trade industry. If it stops, life will get a lot worse than it is right now. That last part that he said is a bit interesting, though.
The comments on the dead rats? How so?
Well, we don't have a specific way of knowing what caused the disease or how it's spreading. But because the rats already carry a few diseases, it is likely that they are a contender. People also think that it is the wrath of God upon us, but being a man of science, I am a bit skeptical about that idea.
And I'm sure there are many who agree with that statement. Moving on to something else, what can you say would prevent the spreading of the disease?
Well, for starters, stay away from any sick people, and if you've just gotten the disease, seek a doctor's help immediately. Also, as for doctors like me that have to be around the sickness, we have to be protected against it. So we wear coats, gloves, boots, and a mask like this one, filled with sweet herbs and plants to keep us getting the sickness.
What are some of the courses of treatment that you would suggest?
Right now, I suggest that everybody bathe regularly in vinegar and rose water, and drink a glass of beer with a crushed eggshell and marigolds inside of it. I also heard that the Venetians are beginning to quarantine sick people for 40 days on an island. I suggest that cities and towns begin quarantine practices immediately.
Thank you so much for this vital information, Doctor. When we come back, we'll discuss the multi-pope crisis and what to do if the Pope excommunicates you.
Do you have the plague? Will you have the plague? Are you concerned about having the plague? If you said yes or no to any of these questions, call now and get your free dissertation. We have the greatest life insurance policy for you and your loved ones. Sam McMahon.
Ring around the roses, my pocket full of roses. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down.
And we're back with an update on the multi-pope crisis. For those of you living under the rocks knowing nothing that's going on, there has been a large movement in the church in recent years as many head leaders have moved to Avignon, France, in what is being called the Babylonian captivity.
That's right. So far, there is almost 7 men claiming popeship in Avignon, and many of them have begun excommunicating the followers of opposing popes. The most popular and prominent of these popes is Clement VI. Let's go to Mavis as she interviews him.
Thanks, Mavis. I'm here in Avignon, France with Pope Clementine VI. Tell me, Pope Clementine, how do you think the split of the papacy seat between 7 different men who are all under French control is affecting the common people who are all dying without hope all across Europe?
Well, Miss Mavis, we all know that I am the most popular and prominent, and all the other 6 popes are fakes. This also means that any person who receives an excommunication order from any pope but me should immediately dismiss it.
And I'm sure that's all very biblically accurate. Now, can you tell me what the church is doing to help the sick?
As per orders of King Philip VI, the church is continuing to provide a burial place for the dead and remissions of sins.
Now that sounds a little strange. Doesn't the Bible say that we should be helping the sick and the downtrodden? How does that correlate with the church's absence during the world's greatest time of need? Well, it looks like there's a reformation in order. Back to the studio! You should really read this.
Thank you, Mavis, for all your good work out in the field today. Well, there you have it. You can bury your dead in the church graveyard, but don't expect anything else.
That's right. All hope is lost while the popes battle it out for dominance in the church, and King Philip VI keeps all papal authority under his control.
This is Florence Live on ART. Stay alive, hope for winter, and we'll see you next time if you survive.
Good morning, Florence. This is Florence Live on ART.
With your 2 favorite hosts, Agnes and Marjorie.
Lots of Beatrice. Is there anything else you can tell me about the plague?
I can tell you what's going on since them thirsty knees. They've been a pain in our side ever since the glorious Crusades. What's my line?
Then you gotta do the whole. Bless you.
And we're back with an update on the
Anything else you can tell us about the causes and maybe the cause of the spread of it?
No.
Sam, you missed your...
Quick, how's my hair? I just never pictured.
All hope is lost as the popes battle it out for dominance in the church, and King Philip keeps all papal authority under his control.
Guys, seriously.